So we have Mrs. Davis here, former Yorkship School teacher, and one of her former students, Kathie, here. So can you tell us about your experience at Yorkship School? Kathie?
I was a student at Yorkship from
67, 68.
Well, I was in 4th grade in 1967 in Mrs. Davis's class, and I was there from kindergarten on, so. And then I went to St. Joan of Arc from 5th grade on.
You graduated from St. Joan of Arc?
I did. I graduated from St. Joan of Arc in 8th grade in 1972. Yes.
And you've stayed in touch all these years?
Well, yes. Mrs. Davis and I were in touch when she left to go to Vero Beach, and we stayed connected, letters and Christmas cards. And then we lost touch probably in my mid-20s, I think it was. And but I had stayed in touch with my pen pal from the year that we were in touch with the Vietnam, our platoon in Vietnam when we had pen pals. And he got in touch with me in the 90s and asked if I was in touch with Mrs. Davis, and I said no. I lost touch with her because I just lost touch with her in her moves, and he gave me her phone number, and I called her, and it was like we had never lost touch. We reconnected, and we've been connected ever since.
Came to see me when we lived in
Clearwater.
Yeah, in Clearwater.
And then in Greenville, or in Piedmont, and now in Malden. Yes, and that was I think it was in the late 90s.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Because we moved there in 1996.
Right.
Yeah.
So we've been in touch ever since then.
Brian O'Leary was her pen pal, and I was always in touch with his mother, Christmas cards and everything else, so Brian always knew where Bob and I were, so that he didn't have any trouble finding me.
Yeah, and I had always stayed in touch with Brian. We had always did Christmas cards every year since we were pen pals in 4th grade.
And we're still in touch. Kathie and another girl that lives in this area had given us a surprise 50th wedding anniversary party. And Brian came up for the party. And he used to stop here on his way back up to Maryland for Thanksgiving to be with his family, so that he'd come and stay. And Bob and I stayed in touch with him. And when he came to the party, and everybody found out where he was from and how we knew him, they were all shocked. There were all 62 people, right?
Yeah.
That came to the party. They came from all over. Unbelievable. Bob and I were so surprised. We had no idea. We thought Kathie was going to come visit, and the first thing you know, the limousine pulled up in front of the house. They took us to Spartanburg Marriott Hotel, and we walked in the door, and there's 62 people from all over places where we lived that we had been in touch with, or part of our lives. And I cried my way all the way through. I was so touched. I still get filled up thinking about it, what they had done. They really, really surprised us.
Yeah, it's just
unbelievable.
tough to surprise, too.